Welcome back, guys. This is NGF News. This is our fourth episode and our second topic of the week. This week's topic is consumer spending and the rise of global debt on credit cards.
So this topic is not talked about a lot, and consumer spending has been on the rise due to inflation and just the overall cost of living
Yeah.
increasing.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, this is more uniquely an American problem, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is.
But there, credit cards are becoming more and more frequent around the world because of the uses of technology. I'll just throw out some statistics and we'll get to talking about it a little bit more. So American total credit card debt as of 2022 is $930.6 billion with a B, billion. That is a lot of money. But really cool thing that I found out is in 2020, Americans paid off a record 83 billion in credit card debt. It's not a big debt, but it's something. Um, you want to talk about anything?
Yeah, I mean, we're just looking at the APRs is what fascinates me is that the credit card, the average APRs right now are revolving around 20%. So it's either anywhere between, I think the best APR I've ever seen on a credit card was like 16%.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's a bit like I looked at credit cards because when I was applying for them, and like I don't care about the APR because I will always pay my credit cards off
Exactly.
because I will never ever carry a balance. But it was just cool to see like what the APRs are, and I think the highest I've ever seen was like a credit card for 29%. I don't remember which one it was. This was when I was applying, but
Yeah.
this was all in the height of inflation when the Fed was raising interest rates. So
Yes, it's very high now.
yeah. I personally believe APRs are going to continue rising. We're going to see the Fed continue to raise interest rates, and it's going to cause a lot of more debt problems here in the United States. We might see that $930 billion continue to increase in 2023.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it doesn't happen, but if we're going to be real here, if inflation doesn't drop, and consumer spending and like the living standards don't drop here in the United States, we're going to see that number rise continuously. The people that open up the credit cards the most are between the ages of 18 and 25. In the
Makes
fourth
sense.
quarter of 2022 alone, 202 million new credit card accounts were opened just between people between
Wow.
ages of 18 and 25.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
no, that's crazy.
yeah, one thing about Americans is that we love to spend money, even if we don't have it, and that's what credit is great for. Now, you're probably wondering, what are two 20-year-olds talking about credit cards? What do you know? Well, certainly enough, we both have credit. We both have credit cards.
Yep,
We both use multiple credit cards, actually.
yep. I don't use cash. I don't use debit
Nope,
cards.
never ever. And that is exactly what I don't know about you, but I was taught how to do by my parents to use credit cards.
Same here.
We felt that this was a topic that wasn't
Talked about
first
too
off
much.
talked about, yes, and then also educated on. Like
And people
nobody.
aren't aware like of how much money everyone around the world spends. The US alone, I think it does like the U so people in Canada, 82% of people, this is all 2021 statistics, Canadians, 82% of Canadians have credit cards. 79% of Israelis have credit cards. Iceland at 74%, Hong Kong at 71. And the US is ninth at 66.7%. So that's a lot of credit cards. But the biggest spenders are the US. I think I read something with like 1.9 million credit cards belong in the United States, with
That's a
the
lot.
rest of the world being at 2 point something billion
Yeah.
of those credit cards, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, as of 2022, U.S. citizens have over 492.5 million credit cards, which, if you take the census data, that's about split half and half of a little bit more older people, but it's about half and half of children and adults. So if you're looking at the actual data, it's almost triple the amount. Every person has at least three cards on average.
Yep.
It's about
Here
2.6%.
in the US,
Two point
it's
six.
average of four credit cards.
Average of four? Yeah, it's crazy.
This is all 2022 statistics. I think these are the most recent, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Let me double check that
I'm
before.
pretty sure this
But
was 2020.
something along those lines. Anyways, yes, Americans can carry between three to four credit cards on average, according to Experian. And according to the European Central Bank, the number of people that carry credit cards, the amount of credit cards carried per person is about one to four.
Yeah.
So that range is quite bigger than the US being at a solid 3-4.
Yeah.
So that just shows that Americans are bigger spenders. We have 1.06, I have the exact numbers. 1.06 billion credit cards are in use in America alone, and 2.8 billion credit cards around the world.
That's a lot.
So we
That's a
account for,
quarter of the population.
yeah. So Americans are big spenders. We are big consumers. The middle class here in Connecticut consumes a lot, which is leading to this credit card debt that we Americans carry the most.
Yes. Just to give you the average statistics on the most, looks like so there's a study that took 10 countries, the top seven highest spending on credit cards debt, and also the three lowest national average debt. Highest is the United States with $5,331 credit card debt, Canada with 4,154, the UK with 3,245, Japan with 2,900, Germany with 2,052, France with 1,616, and China with 1,728. And you know what's crazy? The three lowest aren't even in the thousands. The three lowest. India, $302.
Mhm.
Brazil, $497, and Italy, 811. It's pretty efficient sufficient use of a credit card in my
Yeah,
opinion. I mean the United States, $5,000 per on average per credit card debt. That's
that's,
a car down payment.
I know.
That's a house down payment if you have a FHA loan.
Let's not even get started on the interest they're paying on the debt they're holding. That is absurd. I mean, is it the fault of the people? Is it irregular credit card use or the rising living costs? That's the big debate. Is it are people getting more irresponsible or is it just the cost is just too much and people run out of 64% of Americans live on paycheck to paycheck, right? They need additional money to support their families. And no better way than to go to credit cards because they offer limits between like 2 to 5,000. I think that's like average, right?
Yeah.
So whose fault is it?
I'll tell you whose fault it is. It's Americans. Because I'm going to be looking at the statistics here. 2019, the average debt was 4,784. 2020 was 5,637. 2021, it went down $200 to 5,445. And in 2022, it's 5,010. So 2023 is 5,331. So actually, since 2020, it's gone down
Mhm.
a little bit.
2020 was the height of the pandemic,
Yeah.
so people needed to spend. They had no job. People were
Yes.
losing their jobs, so they had to spend somewhere to get the supplies they need. So that one makes sense, right?
But
Even
the
and in 2022, it makes sense. We had inflation, we had record high prices,
But it's not enough from 2019 when the economy was really well.
right?
It's a $1,000 difference at the height of COVID.
I think it's a mix of both with what
Yeah.
you're saying. If I were to personally speak and answer that question, I think it's a mix of irresponsible use and with everything going on, Americans need some other form of payment to get what they need.
Yeah, for sure. That is a big problem in this country. The average consumer household debt is $205,633. Average mortgage debt within that entire debt is $148,000. The student loan debt is $33,000, and the auto debt is $18,000, which that is insane. The fact that people have $18,000 in auto debt that blows my mind. I can't even comprehend that.
I mean, and it sucks because like these are all things we need too. We need
Yes.
education, we need all these. And it goes back to how do we lower the cost of all these?
Yeah.
And in my opinion, subsidies are the only way to do it so that Americans and anyone around the world don't have to rely on credit card spending and overspending what they can afford.
Yes.
But I mean that's a whole different
Yeah, that's a
conversation on
different one.
on subsidies. But
I remember the thing is, I think people misunderstand credit cards, and also they're scared of them. You sent me a TikTok the other day of some financial advisor on a podcast
oh my god,
talking about how people should stop spending their credit card, stop using
who
it.
watches a Dave Ramsey podcast?
Oh my,
You're getting the wrong financial information. You cannot be dissuaded of using credit cards if you use them responsibly.
yes,
What he's saying, what Dave Ramsey was saying, is that he believes that no one knows how to properly use debt. Every single rich person is in debt,
yeah,
but they make more than what their debt is worth.
yes.
And
Exactly.
we have to resonate that idea of using debt as a way to make us money. That's using debt responsibly because when we use credit cards to buy liabilities, that's a problem.
Yes.
That's the problem that is causing it. We're swiping our stuff, we're swiping our cards, and we're getting all these luxuries, everything we want, but they're all liabilities. They're all not making us money. And then when it comes time to pay, we won't have that money.
Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest like irresponsible ways of
Oh,
using a credit card.
for sure. And here's the thing, like we understand that not every American has their goal set out to be a millionaire, to
Absolutely,
be
yeah.
rich. So it's that responsibility. If you want to be rich, do that. Don't waste your money on stupid crap when you're young. But the other is just understanding credit card responsibility. You want to know the biggest difference between your credit card and your debit card is the fact of the matter that if someone gets your credit card numbers, they're taking the bank's money. And you are 0% liable for any costs to $1 million. But guess what? If they take your debit card money, that's your money. And
Banks don't
the
really care.
likelihood that you're going to get all of your money back from the bank is so slim.
Oh,
And if
they're
you
not gonna
do, it'll take months.
they're not
It'll
gonna
take
try.
months. So what you need to do is you take your credit card. I believe as I spend the way I would spend on a debit card with my credit card. I spend what I have in the bank and what I make, and I make sure that I always have stuff left after I pay it. Because what do you get also out of credit cards you don't get with debit cards? Rewards. And
Oh my God.
that's what people don't understand is that if you responsibly spend, you're still getting rewards. But when
Right.
you pay cash, you get the cash. Especially if you
And
don't
you're
put
not
it in an
getting
asset.
rewarded for that.
Yeah. If you don't put it in an asset, then you're not getting anything back. You're just spending cash.
Agreed, yeah.
Cash is not king. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Yeah,
Everyone
cash.
who thinks it is, they're wrong.
Unless you're trying to do some under the ground, some
But
under the table business, then cash is king.
that's corruption level stuff. Yeah.
We don't promote any of it.
Yeah, we don't promote corruption at all. Just yeah. But anyway,
Anyways, yeah, but let's say you are a person that is facing credit card debt. Some ways to get out of that is a low interest personal loan. With everything going on, you probably get the best personal interest loan right now is probably at like around a 10% on average, according to CNBC. But beats having a 20% APR on your credit card.
yes,
So
for
if you
sure.
are in this situation, do look into lower interest personal loans. Do look into also side hustles. Even if you don't have the time, you can always find something to sell at home. Maybe you can spend an hour a day looking online if someone needs some online work to do to take on something you need to cut your debt off. That's what I got for some for those stuck in
Credit card debt,
credit
yeah.
card debt, yeah.
And
Even I mean like what else can you do really?
I mean just
You have to lower like some of your expenses too. You have to cut out your liabilities, things you
yeah,
don't really need. And like let's say you have a subscription. Subscriptions are killer.
they kill everybody.
Subscriptions are killer if you're not paying attention to what you're getting. I saw this thing on where was it? There was some statistic, right? People are overbuying subscriptions to the point where it's causing them their subscriptions add up more than the cost of having cable TV.
Oh, I bet. Because one of the things that I'm going to have in my when I get my first house and everything is I'm not going to have cable because cable is oh expensive. But I'm also not going to go and buy
All the
every
subscriptions.
single subscription because after you add it up, it'll only save you about $30 a month if you have every single major subscription, which is Paramount, Netflix, Hulu.
I have all of them, right? There's people out there that have more subscriptions that are costing them more if you would have regular just cable alone. So it might save you, it might not, depends on what subscription you're getting, what services you're going for as
Yeah,
well too.
yeah. I mean, look, if you're just getting a credit card, you're 20 years old, 22, whatever, however old you are. Just be cognizant of what you spend. If you get your first job out of college or out of anything, you're making $60,000 a year. There's only so much you can afford. Don't use credit cards saying, "Oh, I have a $5,000 credit limit. I can max it." Well, you're not gonna have $5,000 a month in things that you could at least
Right.
spend on. You have 5,000 a month in expenses. um, that are like heating, living, food, that stuff. But you're not gonna have $5,000 to get Louis Vuitton's, drive an Audi,
Yeah.
all those things. Uh,
And you have to use that credit. When you're a first time credit card owner, you have to use a credit card to build your credit score
yep.
to get cheaper things later on in life. Get that cheaper APR in almost anything you buy, a house, a car, whatever big purchase you have. So for the first card, you would always want to spend, what is it, like 30% is the rule
Yeah, it's
of
like
that
30%.
limit.
Yeah.
Even if you just use it once a month just for gas, it's the perfect way to build your credit score and be very responsible with your card.
Yep.
I remember when I first started out with a Discover credit card, I only used that thing for gas. I was so afraid of going into debt. I was so scared of it. I'm like, damn, this sucks. I have to worry about making a monthly payment now on my credit, like, paying it monthly off completely every single month.
Yeah.
But it was just like spending like cash. It was just like holding it off, essentially, is what it's doing.
Yeah.
You get like a little bit of cash back with the Discover card too.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a sponsor.
Yeah, not sponsored.
Not a sponsor.
But yeah, you have to just be financially responsible. One of the biggest things that I say, and people will hate me for saying this, is if you play the game, which is the American system, you're going to get the better outcomes. Because let's face it, the higher your credit score, the lower APR you pay. So someone who has a 600 credit score who wants to buy a house, it's going to pay like 8% on that loan, which you're going to pay more on the loan than the principal. But if you have 800 credit, you'll go out and buy like a $400,000 house and probably pay the same as that person who's paying 200,000 because your uh, interest that you're paying back to the bank is substantially less than what that person paying in interest, and your principal is going to be probably around even. So just what I always think about is just play the system. If you play long, you don't be stupid. You get that
Get
good credit
rewarded.
score. You open that Roth IRA, that 401k
Yep.
early on in your life. You invest early. You play the system. The system will reward you 30 years down the line.
Yep.
And I think that's what Americans don't see is they want to see the reward now. But you got to just play the long game. Sometimes the long game's 5 years, 10 years, not 30 years. You never know. You just never know.
Yep. And I just want to go back to the point on those stuck in credit card debt. We get it. It happens, and we're not trying to shame you for
No,
it.
not at all.
Like Dave Ramsey, he'll go out and like shame anyone
Yeah,
if you're in credit card debt. Life happens. You need that money to support your family.
for sure.
Another tip that I just thought of when it comes to paying off your credit card debt is to stop using your credit card completely.
Yeah,
You stop making the minimum payment of whatever it is. It could range from, I think it's like $40 on average,
yeah,
whatever that minimum payment is on your balance. What you want to do is treat that thing like pretty much like a loan if you can't get access to a personal finance loan, whatever they are. What you want to do is you want to pay more than just like the $40 minimum payment.
yeah.
Pay like 200, 300, whatever you can afford. That is over $40. That will speed up that process. And do not touch that credit card. Do not spend on it. Only use cash for the time being until you pay off all your debts. And then you can go back to using the credit cards to maximize your rewards
Yeah.
on that credit card.
No, it's very smart because credit cards are very, very important to society. Um, they're very important to you because one of the things that I heard from what is it, Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank.
Mr. One.
He actually had a really good idea of having two cards. One card with a $2,000 limit, and that limit is to have all of your online purchases, including subscriptions. That's it. And then the other one was like I think $5,000 limit. He said, which
Mhm.
it could be higher. This is just his like example
Yeah.
to have your big expenses. Water heater breaks, you need a new car, stuff like that. And I think that's a good idea. Now, I don't think you should just have two credit cards. I think three is a very smart way to have it. And those are the three things that I have for me personally. What I do is I have credit card for emergencies. That's my Discover card.
Yeah.
I have my spending card, and travel card, which is my USAA, which if you're not a veteran or son of a veteran, you can't get that. I'm very sorry, but I have a USAA card. And then the other one is for dining and entertainment,
Absolutely.
which is my Capital One card.
Yeah.
So another thing I think people need to understand is their lifestyle. Because if you understand your lifestyle, get the credit card for your lifestyle and max out those benefits.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. And just to going off of like the credit cards, I agree. Three is perfect. Daily expenses, anything for food, grocery, transit, whatever the expenses are, and then one for travel.
Yeah, travel.
Right.
That's the other
I
one.
like a good travel card. So those are my top three
Yeah.
picks
And,
for credit cards. But if you're just starting out, do not apply for all three.
no,
You,
no, no.
I will let you apply for three at once. I think you'll get flagged on like a credit reporting system.
Well,
Like,
they'll laugh at you. FICO will start laughing at you. Like, what are you
oh
doing?
yeah,
What's this guy doing?
your credit card score will drop. I think it drops like three
Yeah.
to 5 points for every credit card that's open.
Yeah. Just do it one at a time. I'd say every 6 months. Yeah. So I think if you do every 6 months, that'll be fine. But I wanted to discuss also about for you guys to understand is the benefits of each card. So if you look at like dining and experiential cards, the average percent in cash back on those kind of cards is like 3%. That's a lot of money. If you're spending $200, well, let's say $100. That's $3 per every $100. And so over time, you can accrue so much money. You go to travel cards. There's multiple loads of benefits in travel cards. I mean, you have one. Do you want to explain that?
Yeah, so I have a travel card and it has a lot of benefits, which include um, 5 times back on anything, flights and hotel, and then 1 times back on every purchase. But you mainly use it for that 5 times back, let's
Uh,
be real. You get access to lounges, Uber Eats credit, hotel credit,
TSA credit, right?
TSA credit as well. I'm just trying to think, that's why with the long pauses.
Yeah.
Um, what else? $100 every year towards Saks Fifth Avenue. $200 for like incidental airport stuff. So like, let's say you have a baggage
Yeah.
and you didn't pay for it on the website while you were booking, you can just pay for it there, and then that credit card will cover you for it.
Yeah.
And then what else is? There's like 500 more.
Yeah. There's
That
so
that card
many.
has 51 benefits, including rental car protection, return protection. It's just a lot. That is the perfect travel card. Did I even mention the name?
No.
So it's the American Express Platinum card. And you might be thinking, why does a 20-year-old have a Platinum card? I use it for the benefits and I maximize that annual fee every single year. When Josh and I went to, was it Japan, right?
Yeah, Japan.
We went to those lounges every single time. Now, lounge access can be anywhere from $30 to $50 a person. We went to how many lounges?
3?
New York, Taiwan,
Taiwan. I think
and
that's
then
it.
Taiwan.
And then New York. Or no, just Taiwan, so
And then
3.
so 3 times of like, let's say I think it was like $50,
Yeah.
right?
Especially for the New York one.
Yeah. So $50 times three, that's 150 for me and 150 for you. That's $300 in lounge access.
Yeah.
That now my 695 annual fee, I only have $395
Yeah.
to get that back, which you get $240 annually to Uber Eats. So I use it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like once a month I'll order from Uber Eats. And then, oh yeah, you get cash back on certain subscription services.
Yeah.
So like Disney Plus,
Yeah.
my card funds that
Yeah.
subscription and stuff like that. But I didn't like mean to. I don't want to flex or anything.
No.
Like that's not the point of this podcast. We're just discussing what the benefits of each credit card can be.
Yeah, and it's exactly why, like, because a lot of those same benefits are in most of the big cards. Like, I think American Express is probably the best of all of them. But
For experience and travel stuff, yes.
yeah, but then you also have Capital One, which is very good. Their Capital One Venture X. You also have the Chase card, which it's the Sapphire
Reserve.
Reserve. And then there's also the Sapphire
Sapphire
Preferred, but the Sapphire Reserve, there's a 500 annual fee that's really good for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
500 annual, 590. I don't know what it is, but
yeah,
it's pretty much almost like the American Express card. But what the right now there's a big debate of the Sapphire Reserve versus the Platinum. The Platinum has been a little bit of lackluster with their benefits lately. I can't lie,
yeah,
but with the American Express, I feel as if you have more like travel security than you do with a Sapphire Reserve card. That's my opinion.
yeah,
People can pick whatever card they like, but
yeah,
it's just different strategies. People have different credit card strategies, different ways to maximize their points. And if you responsibly use any of these credit cards, then well, you not only get the benefits, but you'll get like access to a lot of pretty good stuff too.
Yeah, exactly. And the last like kind of big spending category is just like normal everyday spending, like shopping. And most cards like that, like a Capital One Quicksilver card, will get you. And again, we are not sponsoring anybody. I'm just thinking of
I
cards off the
wish we
top of
got
my.
sponsored.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of cards off the top of my head. Is usually around 1.5% cash back on everything you can imagine. If you want to buy a new car, if you want to put, if you have enough credit to put on a house, whatever, you
Yep.
get 1.5% back. So you have to understand also your lifestyle. If you travel a lot, get travel cards. It will benefit you greatly. If you like to eat out a lot and you like to go to and see sports games and concerts, get those experiential cards. And if you just like to shop, get the shopping cards. You
Exactly.
know, and you just gotta be smart.
What are some? I know Italy and the UK are the biggest American Express consumers.
Yes.
And I was surprised with how often American Express was accepted in Japan as well.
Yes,
So
it
Japan might
was.
be the next country that moves from Visa and MasterCard to American Express for
Yes.
widely accepted.
They love luxury spending.
130 countries take American Express, but that's not accounting for if you go outside of those big major cities.
Yeah.
The most widely used ones are Visa and MasterCard, with MasterCard being accepted in more countries than the Visa one. So,
Yes.
and then Discover is actually above American Express because American Express is like 130 countries and Discover is 160 countries, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, those are if you're gonna apply for a credit card and you have no idea what you're going into. I think the four like credit cards you should be looking for are not just the like the not brands, but the actual card itself is Visa. Anything with a Visa, anything with a Mastercard, anything Discover, and anything
Yeah,
American Express.
if you're in the UK or Italy, for example, you would have a better chance at maximizing points using an American Express card, like a gold card, for example, for
Yeah,
dining out and eating and whatnot, and a Blue Cash Preferred. Those are, if you have a Blue Cash Preferred, an Amex Gold, and an Amex Platinum, you are maximizing the entirety of the Amex line,
yeah,
essentially. If you're traveling a lot, I would keep the Platinum in your wallet, a Chase card, like a Reserve or Preferred, because they are visas and they're more widely accepted. And I think that's about it for like if you travel a lot. But if
yeah,
your country is not going to adopt, well, not, if businesses are in that country are going to adopt more American Express cards, then just play by ear and pick which card works for you. But yeah,
yeah. Just another thing that you actually brought up is maximizing the benefits of a card company. So
yeah,
if you have like American Express or Capital One or Chase, probably recommended to have all of the same card or at least two of them so you can kind of like swap benefits, which is why for me, like I have Capital One, I want to get the Capital One event direct so I can swap cash and points
right.
between my cards.
Personally, I like the point system better. I feel like I don't maximize a lot with cash because
Yeah,
cash your Points has a variable system. So depending on which travel site you use, right? Different websites like British Airways might have a different promotion going on. Like maybe like I don't know, 1.5 times more if you transfer with them. Hawaiian Airlines has a big thing going on with American Express right now where you can get like 20% more value. I haven't looked into the full details because I don't use Hawaiian Airlines, but
yeah,
that's why I like the point system better because it can be varied. You'll have a baseline of like what the points do. So
yeah.
like think it was like $100,000. 100,000 points is equivalent to like $1,000 average of travel. But you're not taking into account that some websites might have promotional days where if you have a certain amount of points from either a Chase card or an Amex card,
You can use that.
you can use those. So that's why I prefer the point system over the cash system.
Yeah, and I agree. But again, it's all a lifestyle thing, and cash can be very important
Right.
because sometimes transferring cash is important to people who may have expenses coming up on the horizon. So,
Yeah.
um, I mean, yeah, just for me to kind of like wrap this up, it's just about be responsible, and I would say open that first credit card, get a credit, get really good credit, use it responsibly, and down the line, I mean. I don't know anyone who has good credit score who's complaining about it,
Right.
because it's very vital to how you can afford things. You know, if you want a Mercedes one day, you have good credit. You know,
You can do it.
it lowers the price a lot compared to bad credit.
Oh yeah. And overall my final remarks are if you are someone around the world that is facing in that has a lot of debt in credit cards, Your first step again is to pay off that credit card, whether it be taking out more monthly, not use stopping the usage of that credit card, paying more additional than what the monthly payment is, and doing a side hustle or selling stuff you don't need to take out that balance. Then your second step to maximize credit card benefits is to then rebuild your credit, right, with a Discover card or any secured card if you do face poor credit. Then you can move on to the big league credit cards that are like the travel cards, the dining every day. But the most important part and the most important takeaway for all our viewers around the world is responsibility. Consumer spending will continue to go up. Inflation could be variable by the end of this year. Who knows where it could be? Please use your credit cards responsibly. That is what big credit card companies want out of you. You, as a consumer, are going to do it responsibly so that you get the benefits.
Yeah, exactly. And most credit card companies, they're just happy you applied anyway. Because, some companies don't have enough
Mm.
applications. Like American Express had a problem with that for a long time, until recently, actually, because of the travel. When everything shut down, everyone wanted to travel
Yeah,
again.
and plus our benefits have been lackluster. They had to upgrade the benefits
Yeah,
for Amex. Everyone was going to the Reserve because they had more benefits.
yeah,
But now that Amex is getting there,
yeah.
but
We'll see.
we'll
But
see how it goes. But
yeah, I think that's it for this one. Just a reminder for all you guys, just follow us on our Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Remember, Instagram, ngf.news, and the Twitter and TikTok is ngf_news. And please listen to us also on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, what's the other one? Amazon.
Amazon podcast,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, have a good one, everybody. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.